recording his. I've got mine on. And so we will have 2 chances for recording it this time. So I'm going to open it up to Jason, and Jason can share a little bit of information about himself and what we're going to be doing here. So Jason, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Becky. So I'm going to just open up my screen and tell you a little bit about myself as we get started here. So Becky, I'm not very good at multitasking. I'm going to turn off these faces. And then if someone has a question, you can always chime in, Becky, and let me know, and I'll slow down. I'll also stop a couple times during the presentation to just stop and ask questions. And so today, my main focus in the time that we have together is to really teach you how important reviews and testimonials can be and how easy they can be to get. And so having them is just going to allow you to increase your sales force to lots and lots of your raving fans that are already out there saying nice things to you and about you, but being able to do it in a system. So we take a look and, oh, well, that's not it. And just a little bit about me. I'm this little snot-nosed kid in the middle right here. This is my sister. This is my brother. My first business was at 10 years old. My father was a serial entrepreneur. He taught us young the skills of entrepreneurship, and he had a building because he was in real estate for lease that he couldn't fill. So we decided to take it over and have a dry cleaner. The beautiful thing about dry cleaning in the 70s is that all you had to do was work the till, learn customer service, and then you could outsource the rest of it. So it taught me some really good skills on the onset. Now, later in my career, I became a healer, and I became a doctor of Oriental medicine in New Mexico, really working in a hospital with patients with acupuncture and herbs. And over the years, I've helped thousands of wellness providers and coaches to build their business in a way that's sustainable and to simplify, because I find that most people in business now are attached to their computer, you're attached to your cell phone, and you got to find a way to implement systems to make it easier on you. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about the why. Why are reviews and testimonials so important? What's the difference between the two of them? And how can you easily get them? And I think that's important, that if we create complex systems that you never use, it's not valuable. So how can we simplify, simplify, simplify? We take a look, and who do you trust more for products or services? Salespeople, or the owner of the business who profits, or an individual customer who has experience with the product or service you're going to buy? And I was surprised at the data. I'm kind of a metric head. I believe in metrics. I think you have to balance both intuitively what works with you, but also metrically what works for other companies and businesses. When we take a look, 3% of consumers consider salespeople and marketers to be trustworthy. Wow. I mean, 97% don't. And I think we're living in an age where fake news is very prominent, and we often don't know who to trust. But when we see a review from someone that is authentic, or a video testimonial from someone who's clearly expressing and helping share your message on your product or your service, it can be way more effective than you sharing it. So it is okay to have other people toot your own horn. And a lot of times it's easier to have other people do it. For many of us business owners, a lot of you are introverts, and it's not like, hey, just shine another light on me and let me share more why if you use my product or service, you're going to be better off. So sometimes having someone else do it is going to be your best foot forward. We take a look. 90% of people will first check out online reviews before making a purchase. And I'm finding that to be more true every year. 40% of consumers form an opinion by reading just one of 3 reviews. So it doesn't mean that you need 100, 150 reviews. You may be fine with like 5 to 10 reviews. And we're going to talk about cross-platforms. What are the most important platforms? And then again, many people make the confusion between a review and a testimonial, and we're going to talk about the difference between the two. So let's just talk about a personal experience of mine. I have a light right over here. It's this exact light to my right of my computer. And when I wanted to find a light, I immediately went to reviews. Most people go to Amazon.com when they're buying something these days because they know there are thousands of reviews on there that can help them make a decision. Now, it's interesting. You look at 840 customer ratings. I believe that this is significant because there's enough people in that number to know this isn't a fluke. Now, this personal review here, it's 4 out of 5 stars. It's a great little light. I upgraded, and so he was with the same company. And really, when I was looking at lights for video making, I started with this one, a Cowboy Studio. And I went right there and I found one that it was rated by 141 people at a lower rating. So that's 3.5 stars there. 2, read this first line. Almost burned my house down.
Oh, you want that one?
By the time I got back to the other, bulb was flickering and making electrical short noises, right? Now we go back here, interesting to note, this one was less expensive. This one is more expensive, but it got lower reviews. And so what I did, I bought the light that I have. I'm really happy with it. Now, no matter what your product or service, I heard someone say Topgolf, people are looking for extracurricular activities for their families and having the reviews. And what I think is video testimonials is going to be incredibly helpful for your business this year. We are looking at reviews all the time now. Now, if I go to a movie, first thing I do, I go to Rotten Tomatoes. I just want to turn on faces, see a couple of faces, and raise your hand if you've been to Rotten Tomatoes. Like you check it out before you see the movie. I see.
And IMDb, yeah.
And IMDb, great. And so I like Cats. I saw it on Broadway. I'm not sure I would go to the movie theater. It was rated 20%. If you don't know this, if you're moving really fast, movies are expensive. Like to take the whole family, it could talk, we're talking $30 to $50, and it could be a waste of your money. And so really when we're looking at reviews, time is the most valuable commodity for people. And the internet has allowed people to research their purchases before buying. And that includes your product or service that you're sharing with people. Now we take a look at this review versus testimonial. A review is usually a written reflection, and I believe this year that's going to change. Somewhere in the next year, we're going to start having testimonial reviews that people can do. Now, that written reflection is on a service given to a third party. Now, what does that mean? It means someone goes to Facebook and gives the review. Someone goes to Yelp and gives the review. They're not giving it directly to you. Now, a testimonial could be a video, audio, written, and it's really an honest endorsement of you, your products, and your services. And to have these just allows your potential clients to know you're not winging it. You've been doing this, you know what you're doing, and they can hear from someone else what they're saying.
I get follow-up emails asking for reviews after I bought things. I just got one that came through today on some plant stands I bought.
You're going to start getting that more and more.
Yeah.
And I find to have the system of asking is good, but also if you're not a big business, if you're small business, it can be good to add a personal touch. And Lynn will talk about that in just a little bit.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
This is Kevin from Dale Carnegie. Hi, Becky. Actually, two of the things you just said, after every one of our courses, we have the participants write a letter to their bosses why they benefited from the program, and we use that as a testimonial. And now we are actually going to the digital. We're actually videotaping people giving testimonials and talking about their experience and using those online.
That's great. And I want to give just you some kudos that if you're doing it while the experience is present, those testimonials in video format are going to blow people's socks off. Yeah. So we're looking at reviews. 88% of people trust reviews as much as personal reputation. Now, the reason why this number is so important, I don't care about your next newsletter as much as word of mouth. Like, word of mouth is always going to be the biggest leverage in building your business. It's always going to be about relationships. And so if you have people that are sharing you more and more online, more people are going to trust that you have a valuable product or service. Now, in addition, 48% will visit a business website after reading a positive review. Now, why is this important? Because when we're looking at Google reviews, if you're not on Google My Business, you need to be. Because people will look at the reviews on Google My Business, they will go to your website, and then they will click to the next step that you want them to take often. If you don't have that trail, they may just get lost in the shuffle and go to the next thing. And that next thing may be your competitor. We take a look at the top 4. Google My Business. Now, this is super, super important. Most people will take the time to fill out the form in Google My Business. Some of you already have a couple of reviews there, but you're not taking that extra step to go to Bing. And we live in a Google world where we don't even think that people use Bing, but there are millions of people on a different search engine. And Bing is so clever, they will port over your listing on Google My Business, and they will put it into the Bing listing.
Right, yeah.
So take the extra step because it's one more place that you can go. Now, first, 158 million average monthly US traffic. It's a lot of traffic. So allow yourself to signpost yourself on that domain and then ask for the reviews. Facebook should have a Facebook page. Facebook changes rules all the time. Previously, you're not allowed to really share sales on your personal timeline. People still do it, but you should have a business page and you should use that business page. A lot of time businesses will just get them up and never touch them again. On a bare minimum, have a minimum touch of once per week. Amazon's a little bit different because you need a product. And so you might want to think about writing a PDF or a book about your service industry and why it's so valuable and part of the solution to your audience's problem. And finally, I got mixed reviews about Yelp. I'll be honest with you. I find that their sales force is aggressive and they have some unethical practices where they hide your listing. So what I recommend is skip Yelp and go right to LinkedIn. LinkedIn cannot make it easier for you to get reviews. There's a little button at the bottom of your profile page that says ask for a recommendation. I mean, it's that I got 3 today. I got 3 reviews today. So you just click that button, ask for a recommendation. There's a preceded note. I encourage you to take the 30 seconds it takes to personalize it. Personalize the message, send it off, and wait. What I like about LinkedIn reviews is the review doesn't go live. It sends you the review, and then it asks you if you want to make another email about revisions. So it can be a working model for you to get the top review you want. Now, this is Chris Godin. He reviewed me back in September of last year. And it's really great to have your raving fans. Literally takes them 2 minutes. So start thinking about the different places you could get reviews. I'm going to just stop for a second, open you guys back up. Any questions before we continue? And if you're on mute, you can just take a moment to unmute yourself and ask.
I just want to say I don't know how Yelp is legally allowed to remain in business with some of their practices.
I'm surprised as well. I have had more than one client tell me that they weren't paying, and all of a sudden all their reviews were hidden. And it just feels like they may not be around a decade from now.
Exactly.
Anything else? All right, here we go. What if you get a poor review?
Yeah.
Like it happens. Like, and it's not fun when it happens. I taught at the graduate level in business for a decade, and what I found was at least once a year, I got a review from a student that kind of kicked me in the teeth. It was like, didn't matter if 99% of the other students loved me or got something out of my coaching and my teaching. There was always a student that said something that was just like, oh, and it hurts. So when we get that poor review, the first thing to do is not react, to just get some space for yourself. And I'll be honest, if you're in business long enough and you work with enough people, you're going to get a negative review.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen. And so then if it happens, one, normalize it, remembering that you heard Lynn say absolutely, and you hear me saying it can happen to all of us, and to not let it take you out. If you need to, take 24 hours, get yourself in a better space, and then really don't react in anger, but make sure you're acknowledging it. Because the worst case scenario is someone kind of blows up at you on the internet and you're like chirp, chirp, and it's just silent on your part. So what you want to do is you want to write a response, and your response can be very simple. You can use a templated response, something like, I'm so sorry for your experience. We're looking at where the breakdown is. We would love to reach out to you privately. Is that something you give us permission to do? Because we would like to rectify the situation. Now that allows people that are reading that negative review to be like, oh, they care. Look, they actually went and they answered it. And then by taking it offline, a couple things can happen. One, you can assess craziness. Because some people are crazy and they're just like, maybe they didn't even come into your shop and they gave you a poor review. That can happen. Or you dropped a ball, and that can happen. And if you dropped a ball, you can often make a raving fan by cleaning it up when you've taken something and you've dropped the ball and you've taken accountability for it. Mm-hmm. I believe that customer service isn't like that anymore. And when you acknowledge your mistake and you clean it up with someone, they notice. And they may come back, and I've seen this happen where someone comes back and they send another message about, so grateful, that so-and-so called me. So it's not endgame when you get a bad review. Now, the last thing I'll say about bad reviews, it humanizes you. With Autobots these days, everything's becoming generated and computerized. It's easy for someone to set up 5-star reviews. Joe's great. Joe's service was awesome. I love Joe's service. And it's not a human being. So you get a negative review, they can guarantee you're a human being. This is Chris Godin. He's a client of mine out of Austin, Texas. He created a system that I want to share with you because I found it to be super simple. Now, before we get to that, here's what some of Chris's patients say about him. Book an appointment with Chris, you won't be sorry. After just one appointment, I felt better. Chris is great. He helped me with allergies. What I love about this is you have real names. Now, I work with a lot of coaches, a lot of wellness providers. I do not like it when I go to their testimonial page and it's like, Susie is the most bestest coach I've ever worked with. CW from the US. Like, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's like there is no reason to hide the anonymity of someone unless you have something to hide. So allow your patient, your client names to be seen by other people. Now, you got to have a system because I can almost guarantee, that if you just say in passing, we would love a review, and then they're going to get busy and you don't have a system, Probably not going to happen. And so having a system is going to be making it easy on you. We take a look at any system, we can break it down to 3 parts. The first is you have to ask. And I recommend you ask verbally and you follow up with written. So that means in passing, you can say, we would love a review. We're going to send you an email. We're going to send you a text. And then make it simple. The easier you make it for them to fill out the review, the better it's going to be for them. And finally, the follow-up. You can acknowledge and you can even incentivize reviews by following up. So let's take a look at Chris's system. When someone's in the treatment room after he's given acupuncture, someone says, Chris, I can't believe how much better my back pain feels, or I finally am sleeping again at night, thank you. And Chris says to them, our practice really relies on customer reviews like that. Can I give you a card? They say yes. He gives them a card. It directs them to a landing page on his website. We go to that landing page. Thank you for your feedback. Our practice relies on customer reviews, and we sincerely appreciate you taking the time to write a few words about your experience. You can review us on Google. You can review us on Facebook. And this last one is you can review us on Yelp. And Chris and I have talked. He's looking at changing that to LinkedIn.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so look how simple that is. Now we take a look and here's a review. Chris is great. He helped me with allergies and improving my metabolism. The treatment is pain-free and the setting is peaceful and relaxing. Now Neil has just kind of made me think, maybe I should check Chris out. I should call for an appointment. Chris, it took him a little bit, 7 months, but he finally realized I should follow up with anyone that gives me a review. So here's the thing, it's better to follow up a year later than it is to not say anything. The beautiful thing about following up 7 months later is Chris following up could also become a reactivation program. If you follow up with everyone that's given you a review and many of them have fallen off from being clients, they may be like, oh yeah, I forgot about Chris. I need to get back in there.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
So this is another client of mine out of Michigan, and there's some positives and some constructives. So this was just a post on Facebook. Rightwise Wellness Center review, and you'll be entered in to win a free 1-hour massage with our amazing and talented massage therapist. Now, it is absolutely okay to incentivize for people's time. It does take people a couple minutes and it might create some excitement about giving you a review. However, here on Facebook, go to the review tab above or click where it shows our current review, search us on Google, then click write a review, see more. It's just too much in one post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is, if you want to start to do a lot of reviews, pick a month and pick a platform. February can be LinkedIn reviews. March can be Google reviews. April can be Bing reviews. May can be Facebook reviews. And within 6 months, you can have a completely different strategy of cross-platform reviews. So let's talk about testimonials. Your online reputation, it's important. And what others are saying about you is going to build trust in your products and services. It just is. I love to hear that people are going into video testimonials. I've been doing video testimonials for about 4 to 5 years. And I find that the more I do them, the more people contact me that I've never heard of. So we take a look and it's the exact same system. I don't want you to complicate things. You don't have to hire someone. And honestly, there are review companies and testimonial companies that are charging $200 to $600 a month to get these for you. And their systems aren't that complicated. So ask for the review. Have a system to do it, and then make the follow-up. It's that simple. Now, my system, I like 4 different questions. Were you skeptical? What specific results did you get? What occurred because of those results? Would you refer to my products or services? And if so, why? Now, whatever your product or service, you can modify these four to fit the needs of your audience. Having 4 questions is very simple. Now, I want to break down question 2 and 3 because it could get confusing. When I coach someone, often the specific results are they've attracted more clients, or they've made more money, or they're working less. And what's the result of that? So question 3 answers, well, I really started, I opened up an extra room to see patients, and I was making more money in less time, which gave me more time to spend with my family. Or I got my landing page up and I got my marketing systems in place, and I found that I started going hiking rather than spending more time on social media. So let's take a look. This is Caitlin. She's out of Long Island.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Nespoli, and I'm a doctor of acupuncture in Long Island, New York. I highly recommend Jason Stein's coaching program. I've been working with Jason for more than 6 months, and I have seen my numbers triple. I have triple the amount of patients, triple the amount of income, and I'm actually looking for a bigger space right now just to be able to handle everyone that wants to come in. Jason's great because he's not one of those people that just says, here's what you have to do this and you'll get more patients. He really works with you. He works with all the blockages you have, and he really gets deep down to figure out why you're struggling in certain areas and helps you to overcome that. So if you're able to, I definitely recommend you work with Jason.
So if I said that, I would kind of be a jerk. It's like, hi, I'm Jason, and I'll triple your patients, I'll triple your income, I'll expand your clinic, right? And so by other people tooting your horn, it allows for there just to be a relaxed feel. Is there a question here in the chat?
No, he said great presentation. I don't know if he's leaving or.
Okay. So now with this video testimonial, I can use this. I can use it on my website. I can use it in social media. I can use it in a newsletter. I can use it if a potential client is worried about the results they might get. And so it's yours to use in the way that you want to. Now, occasionally I work with healthcare providers that have to be HIPAA compliant. There's still a way to do this with HIPAA compliance, and I have all that paperwork. For the majority of you, you can just do this on your own. In I Take the Lead, there are mortgage lenders and their financial planners that you work within a firm. You have a legal team. You could still do this. You just need to get permission. And if they're not doing it, allow them to let you be the beta tester. Because often it's just a waiver that says that you're not liable and they're doing this of their own free volition, right? So if you're the first doing it, it's going to make a difference. So
you could give a really great video review for somebody without getting specific, like for a financial planner. Just talk about how easy they are to work with and how confident you are in them. So seems like a real natural.
So I'm going to open this up for questions for a little bit. I wanted to let you know, people know me as a wellness business coach, but they say, well, I take the lead. I'm a financial planner. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm a this, I'm a that. I know business, so occasionally I take outsiders from that. I always offer an invitation, and what I have for you guys is going away at the end of this month. So it's the 21st. I do one-page marketing plans, and they're $99 right now, and they're guaranteed. And that's changing its format in February. If you're interested in that, you could let Becky know, or you could reach out to me privately. I come from a real estate family. I've worked with mortgage lenders. I've worked with financial planners. I've worked with tons of different business owners, and I know what I'm doing. So it's worth that hour because it's guaranteed. You don't pay me until after the hour and until after you're like, yeah, that time was valuable. I'm also a strategist because I believe in the yin and yang of business. And what that means to me is you have to have the mindset and you have to have the systems. So with that, am surprised I opened back up. We started the call with 4, and the lines are pretty big.
Oh.
So please, there are several of you on the call that have a question or you want to say something. Open it up rather than leaving without taking your turn. Allow yourself to have this space to let your business be supported a little bit more. So who has a question?
I'm going to throw out a comment, Jason. I've done the marketing plan, and I know other people who have. It really makes a difference. And speaking of real estate, there's a young guy in one of my groups who's a realtor who found a specific niche, and he does a great job with his video marketing on LinkedIn. If I open up LinkedIn, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And he's great at sharing his open houses, and I think it's really made a huge difference in his business. And he was brand new to the industry. So there are things you can do to make yourself a lot more visible to your potential clients, and Jason can help you do that.
And I'll just tie in that if you don't believe that I can help you, talk to the realtor that Lynn is talking about, because we did a little piece of work together that pointed that direction.
Early on, exactly, yeah.
So yes, there are so many strategies you can be using. Right now, the internet, most people are like chasing it. Don't chase after someone else's strategies. You can create your own strategies and make them work for you. I'm just gonna, out of curiosity, like Laura Bennett, what is it that you do?
I don't know. I don't think she can.
Oh, she doesn't have volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We can do one of two things. I'll stay for a couple minutes. If there are questions, I love the Q&A side because I think there's so much fine tuning you could do, and you can get some free coaching right now. If there aren't any questions, I really encourage you to go ask for one review after this call. It'll take you 30 seconds and it'll get you into the motion of creating it. If you don't have a strategy in place yet, you can just use the LinkedIn format. Go to your LinkedIn profile, go to the bottom, ask for a review, pick one person, personalize a note, and let it come to you.
Oh, that's a great idea. Hey, Tom, you're a financial advisor. I'm going to unmute you. I hope you, Tom, are you there?
Yes.
I'm sorry for picking on you. But did any of the information that Jason provide today, would you be able to use that with your business? I'm just curious.
Yes. I mean, you know, like he mentioned, it's stuff that I'll have to get approved.
Yeah.
Testimonials usually are not allowable, but you never know. Things change over time. Doesn't hurt to ask.
It never hurts to ask. I actually, in the last year, I've watched a banker go after the CBD market, and it just blew up. Her bank gave her permission. And so that's one area. I've seen another financial company go after social impact companies, and they were one of the first to do it, and that blew up. And so when you're working in a firm, Tom, the creative guy wins, or gal. And so don't be afraid to go to the leaders and say, let's beta test something. What can and can't we do? And they'll throw it to the attorneys, and the attorneys might find, yeah, we can do this.
Well, yeah, as far as the CBD thing goes, we specifically have to certify that we don't do anything with that. That violates various money laundering rules and stuff, unfortunately.
Not according to her bank. She's a credit. They found a loophole, and she's doing incredibly well.
Oh, very cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Well, thanks, Tom. Thanks for letting me pick on you. So are there any other questions from anybody? Now, remember, you're all muted as you came on, but you can unmute yourself so you can ask questions. Alan.
Yeah, actually, I have a quick question for you, Jason. That one-page marketing plan that you offer, is that just for the Seattle area, or is that for?
No, it's online. I'm in Portland, but I work internet.
Okay. Cool. Okay. That might be something I'm might be interested in talking with you about.
Thank you for asking. Yeah. No, I find I got my business up and remote. It's been 100% remote for the last 3 years. And so I live in Portland, but in April, I'm headed to New Mexico and see the sun for a month. So,
Nice.
Son, what's that?
right. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't look like anyone's ready to be live in the Q&A. And so we're going to close out early, which gives us, a solid 20 minutes. You are going to move into the next thing relatively quickly because that's just how we roll these days. And I highly encourage you, go to LinkedIn, scroll to the bottom, and let me walk you through it so that there's no misunderstanding on how to do it. And then I really recommend you take the last 15, 20 minutes and go ask for a testimonial. So I'm going to share my screen. You just go to LinkedIn, and then you'll go to the main feed. You click on your profile. Most people don't spend the time on LinkedIn because they're just spending too much time on Facebook. I do recommend at some point, Becky, you have a LinkedIn review. You bring someone in for I Take the Lead so people can learn more about how to revamp their profile on LinkedIn.
We have Deb Wise doing that.
Awesome.
Actually, we already did a webinar on that.
Yeah. So repoint people to that webinar. This is really good information. I scroll down and I hit the bottom recommendations. You see this came in today. This came in today. There's one more pending that came in today. Ask for a recommendation. Who do I want to ask? I'll just ask Becky Tangwell. Was a client of mine at this company. Next. Hey, Becky, can you write me a recommendation about today's presentation?
Oh, very good.
I send it. Becky's going to get that in her inbox. So spend the 1 minute to 5 minutes to get on your LinkedIn and get a few recommendations there. Now, once you have those recommendations there, and again, mortgage industry, financial industry, you got to check with your supervisors. But generally, I can take these and I could copy and paste them and I could put them right on my website if I want to.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yep.
Jason, Alan's asking if you would post your contact information.
Oh, yeah. And so you can just go to jasonstein.com. It's JASONSTEIN.com. I do have a newsletter that's free. It's tips that come out every Monday. It's called the Monday Morning Minute because I'm all about simplicity. I got 4 kids. I need every minute that I have. If you go to my page and you scroll over the top, you can see under services, marketing plan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. It looks like starting out, where do you suggest I put my business information out for more people to see my business as a transformational coach? It's really interesting because that's a good question in a one-page marketing. What I would say is, Kimberly, is your website up now? Is it live? And you can either hop on verbally or you can say in the chat. So Kimberly, or she may have left. No.
Oh, no.
I
Let's
see.
see.
She's right here. So
Yeah.
Kimberly, can you hear me?
Here, I'll unmute her.
Hold on.
Kimberly?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, great. So as a transformational coach, you want to know what kind of transformation, like, do you work with mostly women?
Yes.
Yeah.
40 to 60-year-old women.
40 to 60-year-old women. So they're transitioning into retirement. They're transitioning into divorces. They're transitioning into empty nest.
Yes.
Right? So then you start to work it backwards of you could be speaking to divorce attorneys. You could be speaking to colleges that could recommend you for the empty nest syndrome. You could start thinking about Facebook groups.
Okay.
And in the Facebook groups, as opposed to just be like, here's my website, here's my website, here's my website. I always believe give service. So just show up and try to help people. And organically, people will start asking. Now, the main thing as a transformational coach, I know what that is. A lot of people on this call don't understand what that is.
Okay.
And so you need testimonials and reviews to have people help you explain it.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to close out for the day. Becky, Lynn, appreciate you guys having me here today.
Thanks,
And
Jason.
if you guys have any questions, go to my website or reach out to me at jason@jasonstein.com. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for
Thank you,
being here.
Jason.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Jason.
Thanks,
Good
Maria.
stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.